Good morning, horrible people, horrible human beings. The $20 million and how Kang got conquered by the Gambit episode. So, staying with the same theme. I've been running with the last couple days. So when I'm definitely talking about Kang from the Marvel and the Avengers, but the Gambit I'm talking about is a move in chess. So basically, a gambit is when it's generally it's a type of opening, but it's when you sacrifice a piece for better positioning. Remember, it's all about chess isn't about capturing the pieces, it's about positioning, doing as least work as possible to trap the king. So and all of that always always rests on the positions that you put yourself in, much like life. But the way that this ties in with Marvel is, so Jonathan Majors, who was going to play Kang, he was already set up. He had been in a couple movies. You know, once Marvel cast you for the movie, it's never one and done. You got at least 3, but maybe a 5 to 6 movie run. So you sign on for all of it. So to give you an idea, Loki from the first Avengers, and he had been in I think the Thor movies. He ended up getting maybe 5 or 6 movies out the deal. They signed Loki on for $800,000 every time he played. That was, I believe, his name Tom Hiddleston is the actor. The man Josh Brolin, who played Thanos, got between 5 to 6 million for each in-game movie. So I think that was 2 of them, and he featured lightly in other Marvel movies. So the guys who are the villains, they're very integral to the story, but of course they never in it as much as the heroes. Like I think, who's his name, Robert Downey ended up getting something ridiculous. I think he was on the Spider-Man movie. He had a very small bit part to play. They said he only filmed for 3 days, but he got $5 million a day. And at this point, when Robert Downey Jr. is in their movies, he gets paid on the back end. So then their movies are grossing $1 billion. So it's coming out to way more than the $20-30 million ticket he was getting at one point. But anyway, back to Kang, aka Jonathan Majors. He signed on for $20 million to be the major villain in what would ultimately be at least a trilogy of films and maybe some appearances, and then also another film for 2026. They were going to have an Avengers secret, I forget what it was called, Secret Wars or something, where they were enlisting him again. He was about to be, for the next 2 years or so, he was going to be the major villain that was going to be in all of their they were going to thread him through all of their movies. So the gambit in play here was sacrificing something that you want to get in the position. Yo, that man fought, and he's a damn good actor too. He fought to get where he was, and now you was on the cusp of becoming A-list and a household name, and that's to be a black actor, that's even harder. John David Washington ain't even a household name, and his father Denzel Washington, but also that probably got a lot to do with his acting ability. But for Jonathan Majors, when whatever the situation happened with his girlfriend and the phone and whatever was going on, imagine $20 million is on the line. $20 million. People can pull out at the last minute if you break the clauses like what he did, because this is Disney. So every move that you make, it wasn't just to act and make it to the 20 million and sign on the dotted line. It was to sustain it and keep it going, because you don't have everything behind you that other people have, and you still making your cent just because you think you made it. So the gambit here was to sacrifice your pride or whatever, and to just vacate the situation immediately. If you had to call the police to get your call in first, so it's logged and everything is on camera, be seen walking away or whatever. But by the time you running looking crazy down the street, the damage has already been done. She already made the call. It's already done, and history's already gonna record it how they're gonna record it. And we all knew that eventually, once the smoke clears and the dust settles, Disney was like, nah. And to make it even more interesting, we thought they would hire a new actor to play KANG. No, what they did is they writing KANG out, and now they're gonna settle on a new villain and a whole new story arc, and it's gonna be Dr. Doom. But what make it crazy is that Dr. Doom is gonna be played by Robert Downey Jr., who was Iron Man for more than 15 years, and I want to say almost 12 Marvel movies in one capacity or another, and all his Iron Man movies, all his Avenger movies, Civil War, all of the Spider-Mans. At this point, like I said, Robert Downey gets money off the back end of the domestic and the global take of the movie. So if they was giving you $30 million, to put it like this, Robert Downey Jr. has about, 300 or 478 million just from his Marvel work alone. And then I've heard a lot of people say, well, Robert Downey made mistakes. Yeah, there was nobody who was more of a junkie. Listen, when Robert Downey was Robert Downey was so much a junkie, when it was time for him to they want to give him as many passes as they could, like in the late 80s, early 90s. They got so tired of him. Robert Downey ended up going to San Quentin. Robert Downey ended up going to San Quentin, walking the yard in San Quentin. That's how tired they were of giving him chances. And I think he was there for like 2-3 years or whatever. And when he got out, they wasn't dealing with him. As a matter of fact, his beginning money in Marvel was low, but he built himself back up. That's how far he had fallen there. He burned all his bridges, but he built himself back up, and now he's back. Maybe there's other dynamics at play, but for Jonathan Majors, by not sacrificing, you're not Robert Downey for a lot of reasons, and by not sacrificing the pawn of your ego, you in effect went for the gambit and lost the game. Now, if you just lost that game, you can always build yourself back up, and that's what you're gonna have to do. It's much like in life, you're either gonna quit or you're gonna reap the lesson from what went down and then build yourself back up. If that's what you do, that's what you do. It's been done before. Rocky lost in the first movie, but he still won. And then he won literally every other film after that. But that's the moral of the story is, don't go for the gambit. Going for the gambit is, unless it's going to put you in the right position, then you're putting somebody else in position. And that's the name of the game. There can't be two winners at chess. So, Horrible Human Beings, the $20 million, and how KANG got conquered by the gambit. You guys be well, be safe.